everybody, welcome to another episode of Hands-On Games, and today we are playing Levee on Masse by Victory Point Games. It's the continuation of our States of Siege series. This is States of Siege game number 5, and if you're familiar with my video on Soviet Dawn, this should look very familiar. It's the same kind of game system, card-driven, defending a single point, and with some other things going on. So I'm actually in the middle of a game right now. We are trying to further the cause of republicanism. We are defending Paris from armies of the Vendée, Britain, Prussia, Austria, and Piedmont. You'll see that Piedmont has moved from its starting position in Florence and is now in Piedmont. It does have a road bump here with a liberation marker. We've managed to liberate Savoy, so they have to get through that before they move on to Paris. The Vendée are getting pretty close here on spot number 2 at Rennes. The British have been slow out of the gate. I've been keeping them back. They're currently at sea. There's some special battle rules with the British. You can fight them either on land or at sea. Maybe we'll see that in this portion of the playthrough. And then the army of Prussia is in Koblenz, and the army of Russia is in Austria is in Worms. Like I said, I've gone through the first epoch of this game. So there's 3 sets of cards. There's the blue cards that I've already gone through. That's how we got to this game position we're in now. Then the white cards we're going to do next, and then finally at the end of the game you go through the red cards and you see if you won or not, if you can make it through all these cards to begin with. Also in the States of Siege game, there's politics. You have tracks for the monarchy, despotism, and the republic. In summary, you want to keep republicanism high and you want to keep monarchy and despotism low. Definitely get benefits from keeping Republic high, as you know, not just during the game, but in the final victory point sequence at the end. It's a solid game. I do think you'll want to have an interest in this time period to play this particular game with so many States of Siege games available. I would say you probably would want to have a interest in the Wars of the French Revolution if you're going to pick this game over one of the others. There's not that much difference in the gameplay that would make you choose this over the others just on gameplay and mechanics alone. So I will just talk about the game as I'm playing through this deck. You'll see the middle portion of the game where things kind of go upside down a bit for the good guys, for the Republicans here. Because the beginning of the game is set up to try to get you in a good position with despotism and monarchy low. The armies aren't too difficult in the beginning, but things start ratcheting up here in the 1792, 1793, 1794 range. And you know, you can tell it's a typical Victory Point Games Tim Allen map. Very, very thematic as well as useful. Boxes for anything you could need to track anything you need. The French Army, DRMs, Liberation DRM, Political DRM, and you'll see how that works as I play through. So I'm hoping that I'll play through this deck of cards. You'll see how the game works, and then I'll come back with some final thoughts. So let's get started. So flip the first card. By the way, sequence of play is right here. It's reveal a card, move the so reveal the card, perform the military, political, and social events, then adjust the DRM for the French Army, then you conduct player actions. You as the player can conduct political, military, naval, liberation, or order restoration actions, and then there's the housekeeping phase, and you just keep repeating that for each card that you draw. So the first card that we draw says Reign of Terror begins. Military, by the way, the card that we had played just before this was the fate of King Louis XVI, and in our game, the fate of King Louis XVI is that he was executed. It depended on where this Vendée army was at the end of that turn, and luckily it was not in Versailles. The king was executed, and we were able to lower the monarchy track by 2. So Reign of Terror begins. I will show you one card and that up close, and that way you can follow along with what I'm doing as I play the game. Along the top, after the title, You have the armies on the map that will move forward one space. Sometimes they will rotate and stop, or not stop totally, but not move in into square spaces on the board, or they may even move backwards. But right now, Austria, Piedmont, and the Vendée are all moving, and it also has a note that the Prussian army, if rotated, is rotated back again and operates normally. The Prussian army right now has not been rotated, so it doesn't affect that. So we'll go ahead and do those things first. So Austria moves forward from its 3 spot to its 2 spot in Brussels. Piedmont moves forward and tries to move into Savoy, but now we have the liberation marker there. So they have to roll a 3 or better to move into that spot, and they roll a 5. So they do get to take that, and the liberation marker goes back into the holding box, maybe to be used again if I have the opportunity. And the Vendée move into Versailles. The next thing to check is on the political track. Despotism raises 1 and Republic -1. So that goes up 1, Republic -1, and now they are both at a 3. So Republic, when it's highest, makes it easier to restore order in Paris, and you also get an extra DRM. So we just lost that DRM. And then finally, social. So it's a day of action. We're going to have disorder in Paris, and we're going to get 5 actions. At the bottom of the card, you'll see that the card includes flavor text, and this is a staple of all Victory Point games, States of Siege card-driven games. So good to read if you're interested in the period, absolutely. So we're going to get 5 actions, and we have to put the disorder in Paris marker on Paris. So for our first action, we are actually going to do a political move and try to raise the Republic marker or lower the despotism marker so that we can have yeah, we're going to try to lower despotism so that we can have a, without having to roll, we can resolve disorder in Paris. We'll still have to spend an action, but we won't have to roll. So of our 5 actions, action number 1 to lower despotism fails. We have to roll a 4, 5, or 6. You just have to roll higher than the space it's on. So our second action also fails. Our third action fails. Fourth fails. And finally, we're just going to go ahead and call it and try to restore order. With our last action, we just need to roll a 3 or better. If we don't restore order, we have to lower our Republic marker by 1, which we do not want to do. And we rolled a 4. Order is restored, but that is the end of our turn. We really didn't make much progress. That was a terrible turn. Housekeeping, you check Paris. Paris is clear. Conquest of liberated spaces, we could have left that till that moment, and so now we say it's been conquered. We remove that. Reset French army DRM to 0. It was already there. Remove any DRM markers. We didn't have any on the board, so you move on. And I won't say that each time. You'll just know that's the process. So the Committee of Safety, the Committee of Public Safety, formed. Military +1 DRM right off the bat. Britain moves forward to 3, Prussia moves forward to 2, and the Vendée move forward into Paris. We have -1 political DRM, despotism goes down 1, and Republic goes up 1, so that's good news for us there. We get 5 actions. So here's how we're going to use those actions. We have a +1 DRM off the card. Now we get another +1 DRM for Republic being the highest political marker, so we get a +2 DRM. We still have 5 actions. Now the first action against any invading army in Paris is free, so this does not count against our 5. We just have to roll higher than their value of 3 to get them out. We do not. So now we have our 5 actions. Let's start working on the Vendée. All right, 4 actions left. And we get them out to Versailles. Now we have 3 actions left, and with those 3 actions, let's move the Vendée back a little bit farther. 2 actions left. 1 action left. We're going to try to move Piedmont back 1, and we fail. So that is our turn. The political DRM goes away, and the directory established. Britain moves into Amends. Prussia moves forward into Valmy. Austria moves forward into Arras, so we've got a 2, a 1, a 1, plus 1 political DRM, so it's a good time to be exercising politics this turn. Despotism and Republic both go up by 1, and we get 4 actions. With our first action, let's move down Despotism. Good. So we have 3 actions left. Let me show you, we're going to try with these 3 actions that are left. By the way, we only have 1 army DRM right now. We can wage a naval action in this spot, or this spot, and if you win a naval action, it pushes Britain back 2 spots, but you have to fight against this marker that's printed on the board, a value of 4. So we have to roll a 5 or a 6, but with our DRM, it's a 4, 5, or 6. We push them back 2 spots to the at sea spot. We have 2 actions left. With our 2 actions, these 2 armies are close. We have the DRM, so let's try to push these guys back as well. So Austria, we need a 4, 5, or 6. We do not get it. Let's try Austria again with our last action. All right, we get it. So Austria's moved back to Brussels, and that's the end of our turn. Reset everything. The Battle of Savonne Wars of the Vendée. So Piedmont moves forward 1. The Vendée move forward 1, and we get a +1 military DRM against them this turn, so we'll mark that. And Despotism moves up 1. But we are still, the Republic is still the highest, so we get the +1 DRM for the Republic being at the 4 spot. And there's -1 liberation DRM. We're not going to do any liberation this turn, so I'm not worried about that. It's disorder in Paris and 4 actions. Given the fact that Republic is the highest, we can spend 1 action without having to roll. So we have 3 actions left. We got rid of the disorder. With those 3 actions, let's take advantage of this +1 DRM. Does not work. Try again. With 2 actions left. That helps. And we have 1 action left. Let's push them back even further. We don't get it. That's the end of our turn. Reset everything. Flip the card. Levee en masse. All right. Military +1 DRM for the military, so that goes here. Britain moves forward. Prussia moves forward into Paris. And Austria moves forward into the 1 spot. Despotism moves up to 4. Republic moves up 1, but it can't. It's already at the highest spot. And we have 5 actions and 1 military DRM. Okay, we need to get 2 DRM, so we need to get Despotism down. We have to roll a 5 or a 6 to do so, but we have 5 actions, so let's hope we can get lucky. Not good. We have 4 actions left. 3 actions left. All right. Now, we have 2 actions left. We get +2 DRM, and we have to get now a 3, 4, 5, or 6 to move Prussia out. We get it. So 3 + 2 is 5. 5 is greater than 4. We have 1 roll left, the +2 DRM, and let's keep going after Prussia. 3 + 2 is 5, moves him back to the Metz. Okay, that is the end of that turn. Everything's cleared. Flip a card. So that was pretty close, but we survived it. The Battle of Rivoli, the Italian campaign. Austria and Piedmont move forward. Now, one thing I want to mention is when you're playing this game, you really want to try to get the British forces, Prussian and Austrian forces back to their number 5 spots, because when you get to the 3rd deck, there's going to be a card called... Well, I can't find the card, and maybe it's in the white deck. But if you can push all of those... Oh, here we go. It's the Treaty of Amends. If you can push them all back when this card comes out, you can remove all those armies from the map. So this is kind of what happened in real life, as explained in the manual. So I'm keeping it in my mind that I want to get these armies pushed back if I possibly can. All right, so Austria and Piedmont are moving forward. So Austria back into Paris and Piedmont to the number 1 spot. Political +1 liberation DRM. So if we do that, there's the marker for that. We get 4 actions. Well, obviously, Austria being in Paris, the Austrian army knocking on doors of Paris is a bad thing. We have +1 DRM because of the Republic track, so we're going after Austria. We need a 4, 5, or 6. All right, there's our 5, so Austria goes back 1. We have 3 actions left. Let's push Piedmont back. Got a 5, so that pushes them back. And we have 2 actions left. Let's push Austria back again. Good. And with our final action, let's take care of the Vendée. All right. Good turn. The reign of Madame Guillotine. Britain moves forward. Austria moves forward. Piedmont moves forward. And the Vendée move forward. Political reaction. That means a marker here that is higher than the others, then both of the others moves down 1. And any mark, and then after you do that, if there's a marker that's lower than the other 2, they move up 1. So unfortunately, we lost our lead here over a despotism. And we have disorder in Paris. But we get a +1 restore order DRM. So that means we don't necessarily need to worry about raising that right now. So we have 6 actions. With our first action, let's go ahead and try to take care of the disorder. It's basically we just can't roll a natural 1 because a natural 1 is always a loss. So we have 5 actions left now. Plus we have no DRM for military. So let's do this. With 5 actions left, let's try to lower despotism a couple times. We need a 4, 5, or 6. Didn't get it. 4 actions left. And we didn't get it. 3 actions left. Let's try one more time. That doesn't count. 3 actions left. All right. We lowered it. Now there's 2 actions left. We get our +1 DRM for the military. Good enough. 2 moves left. 3 + 1 is not good enough. Last move. Let's try again. Now, you know what? Let's try. Let's go over here to Austria. Let's try to push them back with our last turn, and we did. All right. So that's it for that. White Terror in the Midi. Piedmont moves forward and Vendée moves forward. It says no military actions versus the 3, 4, and 5 spaces on the Piedmont or Vendée track. So Piedmont and Vendée. Piedmont moves into Paris. Vendée moves into 1. Luckily, we can wage a battle against them. Another political reaction. The highest one moves down 1. The lowest one moves up. Everything's evening out a little bit. And we lost our advantage there on the political track. 3 actions without that DRM, but it's only Piedmont, so let's just first try to knock Piedmont out of here. Remember the first battle, and I may have missed this in previous turns, I apologize. The first battle against an invading army in Paris is free. It does not count against the actions, so I may have sold myself short in a previous turn, no big deal. 6. All right, so we still have 3 actions, because again, that one was free. With these 3 actions, let's push the Vendée and Piedmont back. So first the Vendée with the first action. I rolled a 3. Second, pushes them back. And the final Piedmont, I got my 6. All right. Counter-revolution erupts in the Vendée. Prussia, Piedmont, and the Vendée all advance. Prussia, Piedmont, Vendée. Political monarchy +1. Despotism +1 and Republic -1. Okay, this is bad news. We need to fix that. And we have disorder in Paris. To make matters worse, we have 4 actions. Well, let's bring Republicanism back up with the first action. Pushes up +1. The second, we need a 3, 4, 5. All right, we have 2 actions left. We're going to try to lower despotism. We need a 4, 5, or 6. We got our 6. All right. We have 1 action left, and with that 1 action, we're going to remove disorder. All right. Again, if Republicanism is highest, it's no roll needed to remove the disorder marker. And that's it for that turn. First Treaty of Basel, Austria and Piedmont move forward, and we now have a new liberation marker in play that we can use. So I should try to show you how that works if I can get the opportunity. Austria and Piedmont. Piedmont using the Paris again, +1 liberation DRM if we decide to do that. We get 4 actions. If the Prussian army is in its 5 space, flip it over. It's now inactive. It is not. It is in its 1 space. So 4 actions. Let's get Piedmont out of there. This one's free. Okay, our free action failed. So now with our first, we knock them back. So Paris is surrounded, but not occupied at the moment. We have 3 actions left. We're going to work on Piedmont again. 2 actions left, Piedmont again. We do have that +1 political DRM, remember? That didn't help us there. And our last action didn't help us. All right, so that's the end of that turn. You can do liberation, you can try to provide liberation in any circled spaces, not controlled by the enemy. Unfortunately, all these circled spaces are currently controlled by the enemy. Anything behind them is under their control. So we'll move on. The Battle of Flores, or Fleury, however that's pronounced. Britain and Austria move forward. Britain and Austria is now in Paris. +1 liberation DRM. Probably not going to come into play. And despotism moves up 1. That's a drag, and we get 4 actions. We need that DRM. We just lost it with that move. So let's try to move despotism down again with the first of our... Well, let's do our free action against Austria first. Unsuccessful. Okay, so our first action, 4, 5, or 6. We get it. Now we get our +1 DRM with 3 actions left for fighting the Austrian army. We push them out. We have two actions left. Let's keep pushing against Austria. Push them back with that +1 DRM, and 1 more. Push them back to Worms. We got them. All right. Now that opens Brussels for a possible liberation. The Verona Declaration. Piedmont and the Vendée move forward. Piedmont. Vendée moves into Paris. -1 DRM versus Austria and Piedmont. Monarchy +1, despotism +1, and we're all even again. 3 actions. Let's take our free one against the Vendée. That pushes him out. We still have 3 actions left. Let's try to raise Republic. We need a 4, 5, or 6. We don't get it. 2 actions left. We got it. All right, 1 action left. We get a +1 DRM. With 1 action, let's push the British back. We do. All right. Whew. Let's reset the DRMs. Flip the next card. The Whiff of Grape Shot. Britain and Austria both move forward. Despotism +1, Republic -1. So now Napoleon is flexing his muscles and has control. Social, if present, move disorder from Paris. It's not, and we have 3 actions. Well, oh boy, with these 3 actions, we don't have a -1 DRM. Because, despotism doesn't affect us, only monarchy, if that was highest, would. So with these 3 actions, we're going to let that sit for the moment. We're going to try to make some room around Paris. See if we can get 3 lucky rolls. First with Britain. Then with the Vendée. And let's move on to Piedmont. Nope. Alright, that's States of Siege for you. The Battle of Neerwinden. Military, Britain, Austria, and Vendée all move forward. Britain, Austria, and the Vendée move forward. -1 military DRM versus Austria only. Political despotism drops down 1, Republic back up. Thank you very much. All right, so we get our +1 DRM back. We get 3 actions, but a free one against the Vendée, which is unsuccessful. So our first action succeeds. We have 2 actions at a +1 DRM. Let's go Vendée again. And that succeeds. And Britain succeeds. Next card. Robespierre executed. Britain and Austria move forward. Britain, Austria, into Paris. Despotism -1, Republic -1. And there's disorder in Paris, along with the Austrian army, and 3 actions. First thing, let's do our free roll against Austria. No DRM. Let's do this. Let's try to get a DRM first by reducing monarchy. So we need a 4, 5, or 6 with our first action. We got it. All right, now we have a +1 DRM. Now for our free action against Austria, failed. We have 2 actions left against Austria. 3 + 1 is 4. That's not good enough. 1 action left. This is pretty much it. We need a 4, 5, or 6. Or the game is over. Ooh, just got it. So Austria gets pushed out with our final action. There's still disorder in Paris, so we have to reduce the Republic marker by 1. And any other cleanup? That's pretty much it. We've got a couple cards left. The Battle of Lodi, the Italian campaign. Austria and Piedmont move forward. Austria back in. Whoops. Austria went the wrong way when we kicked him out. So Austria is back in, and Piedmont is also in. +1 military DRM versus Austria only. That works out to our advantage because we lost our advantage over here. Despotism +1. It's not going to hurt us from a military perspective, and we get 3 actions. So let's focus on Paris. First, the free against Austria. Oops, the free move against Austria doesn't work. The free move against Piedmont doesn't work. Okay, so we have 3 actions. Let's take care of Austria. Failed. 2 actions. We need to succeed. Didn't count. We need to succeed. We failed. That's going to end the game. Yeah, we did get Austria out, but we are out of turns. We're out of actions. So the army of Piedmont ends the game in Paris for a Republic loss. And per the instructions, I'll just read you what it says. You have suffered a decisive defeat if you still have at least 1 white deck headline card left, which we do, just 1. In this case, terror rips France apart and its territories are divided as plunder among the member nations of the First Coalition. Britain seizes the Channel ports plus Brittany, Normandy, and Calais. Austria-Netherlands expands to include Belgium and the Somme. Prussia annexes Alsace-Lorraine, and Piedmont-Savoy expand into the southeastern provinces of Old France. A rump state of France remains, consisting of the remaining provinces in southern, central, and southwestern France, with Louis XVIII as its king. For its part, Paris becomes a radical sans-culotte free city-state until it is finally annexed again by France in 1903. Hey everybody, it's Al. Moved outside. It's ridiculously hot here this weekend, so wanted to get outside in the shade, at least get a cool breeze. Alright, so that was Levee on Masse. It's a John Welch game, John Welch design. Alan Emmerich, of course, as with all of Victory Point Games, is the developer, and Matt Bard, as I mentioned previously, is Tim Allen. Very easy to learn, quick to play, 30 minutes to an hour game. Really helps, as I mentioned, if you're familiar with and or a fan of the history of this time in this part of the world. I think it's gonna grab you a lot more than maybe someone like me who, admittedly, I don't have a great interest in the French Revolution or the happenings of the time period. I think my slant would be towards the Napoleonic battles themselves, more tactical games about those battles and less about the political struggles of the time. That said, I've played this game a few times now, and I get it. It's fun. I see the interactions. Having to balance balance your turns between political and military is very challenging, especially when the dice aren't going your way. Losing is not a big deal in this game because it takes less than 1 minute to set it all back up again. The way that the cards are organized into 3 epochs, so that's still random every 3, 4, 5 year chunk of time. It's still randomized within there, but the key events are represented in strict order, so it all flows and makes sense thematically. Yeah, I still continue to really like the States of Siege games. I guess my one comment would be, and I think I said this during the playthrough, if you have one of the other States of Siege games like this, like Soviet Dawn, for example, and you really like it, unless you're really into the French Revolution, I probably wouldn't recommend that you add this to your collection unless you're a completist like I am. That said, if you don't have a game like this, this would be a great one to start with. Israeli independence, Soviet Dawn, 2 great games that are just like this that are great entry-level games as well. And Zulus, while it was one of the earlier ones as well, you can watch my previous video on that, is more tactical in nature. So if you're looking for more of a political, geopolitical, strategic game, this or Soviet Dawn would fit the bill great. And I've got some more. Obviously, I'm going through the games. This is only number 5. Still got a bunch to go. If you're waiting to make a purchasing decision, I'll try to get through all the videos as quick as I can. But yeah, so hopefully, the gameplay video gave you an idea of what it's about, gave you a flavor for the game, an idea of how the mechanics work. And I will keep moving along through the States of Siege games on to number 6. So until I talk to you guys next time, stay cool. Hopefully it's not as hot where you are as it is here. And I'll talk to you guys later.